terms of how ritual is actually explored in Angola. So I'm kind of not necessarily reproducing, but looking how they do rituals in Angola, how they make their body in Angola, and because I actually collaborate and work with an English photographer, so I'm in a British context, so my work is incorporating my experience in the British context, but using the Angolan traditions as a base, as a starting point.
So how do you articulate that collaboration with the British photographer?
He's the person who actually paints my body, and we've been working for a couple of years. So it's a way of sometimes a way of negotiating space, and how my work developed in Britain with someone who actually doesn't it's not from Angola, but I tell you how to paint me and how to collaborate with me.
I suppose what I'm getting at is that sense of being displaced or searching for identity is really interesting. I'm interested in how you write there, or how you document and how you're theorizing your experience in your
No, that's the question. No, I think that's what you just said.
Yes, I'm really interested in particularly how you started talking to us about how, as part of your own search for identity, took on these traditional rituals. I'm interested as part of your doctorate how you transcribe that, how through documentation, photographs, and how you preserve that, how you're theorizing that, how you're writing that. Your own embodied experience of how that, but does that then close the gap? How does that work to close the gap?
How can I say? Like the traditions of Angola, how body painting is done in Angola. That's where I kind of base my exploration of identity in the British context. And then in the British context, I explore performance and I use rituals. And my thesis is actually based in some of the performance that I've done. So I'm kind of describing the performance at the same time how the performance links back to Angola as a kind of religion and ancestral and spiritual value, because body paint in Angolan context is also referring to the ancestral traditions of honoring the ancestors and linking to traditions of ancestors and spirituality as well.
I just wonder what was will you reflect upon the distance and the room, space in there, where you are doing the documenting? Because you are saying that you are going back to tradition, to your Mongolian identity, but you're far away from it in distance and when it comes to space. So there's kind of I just wonder about the facility or from your own tradition and identity far away from it.
Yeah, but I actually, by being far away, I actually realized that I became closer to the Angolan traditions, because when I was in Angola, when I was young in Angola, I actually didn't value these traditions. And then when I'm in the British context, actually I became much more interested in exploring these traditions.
Can you comment on, I think you performed a phenomenal here, a ritual here. What does it mean for you to perform an ancestral ritual here?
spirit, body and skull. So it was a performance where I used my body and I used the skull as a way to reconnect with the spirits. It was to me, it was a kind of spiritual way of performing and using my body as a medium to make the spirit come back in a way.
It seems to me that there's a lot of room here to investigate notions of identity, certain identity and performative, but also diasporic identity, right? And there's certainly a lot of literature about the way in which in the diaspora there's a grasping of, in some sense, more conservative or essentialist notions of identity that is not necessarily required when looking England's performer. Have you looked at theories of identity and performative, but also the question of diaspora in relation to
That's an interesting question. Diaspora, because diaspora was born, through the human transatlantic slave trade. There is a lot of link, a lot of ways of wanting to one wants to reinvent himself because of being out of context, and to me, my way of reinventing myself and giving a sense of identity in the British context is by creating a new identity through exploring what it paints. So
one more question and then we'll move on.
Just continuing, because I think you began to answer the earlier question when you talked about your own sense of what you were doing in terms of connecting that to spiritual tradition or ancestral tradition. Here, the identity of the audience, or identifying your own audience, how did you feel the performance translated to the audience?
how do
How did you identify your audience?
I identify my audience? I think when I produce performance, when I do performance, I'm very aware and interested to see the audience's response, because the audience response during my performance, there is a lot of different reading by the audience, and that it reflects on each individual experience bringing to the performance. So my performance are the way I produce are very much open to different interpretations.
Thank you very much. Again, hopefully we'll have some time at the end. Our third speaker is Roberto Sanchez-Camus. Triangulated City, Beirut, Lebanon is the title of the talk.
And just while we're setting up, I just want to remind people that it has a film set up downstairs in A003 that's running on a loop all day on this research in Ghana. And please feel free, it's in the program on the last page with 3 days.
I'm completing my PhD this year in what I'm kind of terming applied life art. I'm looking at creating performance practice that is influenced by and reflects social systems, either as within a slightly responsive context or, as the film shows, as an intervention. Arts and Health Initiative. So I have 3 different projects I did. One was a site-specific project in Naples, Italy, in a deconsecrated church that reflected local customs in a quite impoverished area of Naples. The second was this Arts and Health Initiative in Ghana, which the documentary is about. If you have a second to even see any parts of it, I'd love some feedback on it as well. And the third is what I'm presenting here, which is Triangulated City. It was a performance, multi-location performance in Beirut that occurred last summer. So I chose Beirut because I was really interested in trying to create a project that was influenced by the situation of local politics without necessarily creating content that was driven by the dogma of politics. So I wanted to be in a politicized geographical area that would inform the content of the piece through my work with local participants. Beirut is quite a complex place to work. And what I really wanted to look at while I was there was how to be able to navigate a bit of the chaos of the city. I had been there before, so I wanted to explore the geographical regions of Beirut, which are quite complex given the history of the Civil War. And so the proposal for Triangulated City, this is a very projection set of text. It's not doing justice, but anyway, it was a performance that happened in 3 locations. I wanted to use more than one location because the idea was that you would take a piece of the performance with you through a trajectory through the city to another site. And 2 sites seemed like a dialectic, and I wanted to somehow create a containment. And 3 sites was the minimum I could get for geographical and geometric shape. That would also create various elements of exchange and movement within the city. I was run through my performance company, Lotus Collective here in London, and hosted by the Chikukwango Theatre and Cultural Association, which is one of the only real functioning theatre companies in the group that's local. There's another one that's functioning. With Chikukwango and Lotus, we've been invited about 22 participants to develop the piece with us. So, in essence, I offered the form and then invited participants to offer the content. And that was a bit of the experiment with this kind of co-authorship. I also developed the pieces by a workshop method. Now, the workshop methods were part of my background as a teacher and educator, and also started quite strongly in Naples with the concept of the laboratorio, or a place where you would experiment via a series of workshops and then show the result, as opposed to perhaps treating it like a rehearsal process and then having a performance at the end. So it's very much an open workshop invitation, which at the very end was the product of this workshop. In 2009, while I was there, I did about 18